Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
Were you excited to watch this movie?
Yeah.
Was it horror?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah.
All this and more on Gory Storytime.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Storytime. I'm your host, Jason.
I am his co-host and his father, Craig, and this week we're doing our third in our series of 4 movies that are Shudder exclusive or Shudder produced, or they're Shudder movies in some way.
You can watch them on DVD or Shudder are the options.
Yeah, basically.
That's basically what we're doing.
And this one, again, because it's made, since Shudder had it, there wasn't a lot of information on IMDb for like behind the scene trivia, but I did dig up some facts, so we each got 4 instead of 10. But it's better than none.
Right.
And it's not like what we did a couple weeks ago where we just repeated one fact over and over again, except for the last one.
What are you on?
Go back and check that out.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, stop. The way it works is you can reference that it was a joke in the past, but you just keep it straight-faced during the joke.
Huh.
Yeah, so keep that in mind for
did
future.
You know? Did you know that Cthulhu was the son of H.P. Lovecraft, written by Cthulhu?
Sure, that's it. Anyway, so this movie, there's a woman who's an atheist, gets a report that her brother had committed suicide. He was a priest, and she doesn't buy it. Like, their story of him committing suicide makes no sense, and she insists on digging deeper and seeing what these nuns and priests are lying about. That's the basic premise. Oh, and it's on Shudder and supposed to be a horror movie.
It's a
drama
mystery
movie.
Crime drama?
Yeah, it's a mystery crime drama.
A supernatural mystery crime drama,
But because they told us it was a horror, it's hard not to judge it harder.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't.
No, it was not.
So I will give 2 numbers at the end for my rating. I'll give a number for as a horror movie versus as a movie in general.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, because
those will be different numbers.
Very much so. All right. So is there anything else you want to say about the basic plot? That's basically what it is, right?
I mean, watch it before we rip it apart for you, but...
And then, I guess we just throw it to the trailer.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
I'm here from the Vatican because of your brother's death. I've come to bring transparency to this tragedy.
Before he fell into darkness, he was much loved by everyone.
Fell into darkness. You saw my brother kill himself.
The eyes of God are on us all.
This was the ultimate confessional. The nuns, they stand here, and for every sin committed, they take a step back. The more steps they took,
They fell to their death.
God caught them.
We live a disciplined life here. Contained, cleansed, purified.
Peekaboo. Where are my clothes?
Mother says we must first remove the filth from them.
You're a woman of science. What is it you seek?
My brother was badly hurt before he fell. I think he discovered something that he was afraid of. You need help, child.
Something for you. You came in search of truth.
I come here when I have dark thoughts. I think I might be a really bad person.
They are all lying.
What is it that you think you know?
Don't be scared. There's but one God.
Peekaboo.
Well, all right. Decent trailer for what it actually
Decent trailer.
is. Now comes the part of the show every week where we explain that we aren't here just to review horror movies. I mean, what it is we're money hungry people.
Yes.
And the best way to make money is to sell products and get paid to do so.
Or yourself.
The only way to do that, or one, not the only, but a very easy way to do that is you get yourself a show that's successful and has, tens of views.
Oh, yeah.
And then big corporations will come and offer you a lot of money so that you can advertise their products. This week, we have an extra special one first, actually, because it fits perfect with this movie. It's the new book, The Top 10 Things Wrong with the Catholic Church.
And by The Mislabel Maker, the fun gag gift to really mess with your friends and family. The Mislabel Maker looks like a regular label maker until it is used. Your victim will type in whatever they want the label to read, but then comes the magic. Using our patented disappearing ink and our patent pending reappearing ink, the label looks correct, but in 10 to 15 minutes the correct words disappear and are replaced with random words. The Mislabel Maker also has a self-adhesive that is permanent, so you can laugh as your friends ruin items trying to remove the label. The Mislabel Maker, because sometimes it's fun to be a dick.
True. All right. Now to the part of the show where we get into the behind the scenes, or as he likes to call it, the meat and beef of the show.
Or as I like to call it, the meat and the beef of the show.
Yes. He meant to say meat and potatoes one day, and, well...
Potatoes are bad for you.
I mean, if you're on a low-carb diet, do you want meat and potatoes or do you want meat and beef? Anyway, you want to go first or do you want me to?
I can go first.
All right.
Consecration is a 2023 supernatural horror thriller film directed by Christopher Smith from a script he co-wrote with Laurie Cook and starring Jenna Malone, Danny Hudson, and Houston.
Maybe no.
Huston?
Huston, it looks like.
Okay. And Janet Sussman.
The movie was shot in Scotland on the Isle of Skye.
Consecration was released in the UK and the United States on February 10th, 2023, March 3rd, 2023 on VOD, and May 19, 2023 on Shudder.
So the day before your birthday is when it went into theaters shortly, or for a short period. The project was first reported in Variety in July 2021 with a shooting schedule set for later that summer.
The film was produced by AGC Studios, produced by Xavier Marchand and Moon River Content.
Of Moon
River Content. Jason Newmark of New Scope Films and Laurie Cook of Big Scope Films, who was also a co-writer.
Director Christopher Smith told Entertainment Weekly he was inspired to make the film due to his fascination with all denominations of religion's apparent strange essence, saying, "I've never been more spooked than if I walked into a church or temple. I wanted to make a movie about religion, but do it seriously."
IFC Films distributed the film theatrically in the United States, with Shudder having the first streaming window.
And this film was screened at the Glasgow Film Festival, March 11th, 2023. So wait, after it was released in the theaters?
And after it was on video on demand.
Okay, usually
But
they do
before
the
it was
circuit
streaming.
ahead of time, but okay. All right, that is all we could find for information about this movie.
That is all of the facts. So
we usually try to do 10 each, but boy, that didn't work this time.
yes.
Now, let's talk about our favorite and least favorite. Or wait, no, first, Rotten Tomatoes.
They exist.
Is a website.
And I'm becoming less and less sure if they do exist after all.
Well, what they claim to do is take all of the critics' reviews and they combine them where the total is obviously 100%, and then they just tell you how many out of all of those people liked the movie, gave it a positive review versus a negative review.
Yes.
So it's just telling you the percentage of positive reviews, not telling you how good the movie is.
Yes.
But then they have a section for top critics, and they also have a section for the people, and then top people or
like
verified people,
audience,
which makes no sense.
And it's like, why is a subsection of the audience being pushed to me?
They like to cut down on, they think people are trying to like slam movies, so they'll like make a bunch of fake things and go in and say, it's bad. So I don't know how they verify that though.
Right.
Like, they're like, well, obviously just the haters.
Well, and it's worse with the verified people.
Well, sure. In this case, but
right.
Anywho, so the critics have it at
a 42%.
And out of all the people, 24% liked this movie.
I think what happened was they were told, hey, Shudder's making a horror movie, and they all watched for a horror movie. And like us, they realized it wasn't.
Like, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
it's unfortunate.
Not trying to spoil this, but like, go ahead like 60 seconds in the video if you don't want to hear this. But honestly, pretend now I said that and people have skipped ahead and I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah. Let's fill this 60 seconds with nothing.
I'll leave that as I'll use it as my least favorite thing.
Has it been 60 seconds yet? Let's wait to say any spoilers.
No.
Until after they've skipped.
No, it's just, I don't expect people to really skip. What is your favorite scene?
Okay. So, right at the very, 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 very beginning, with no context, we just see a woman walking by herself, and then a nun walks up and pulls out a gun and aims it at her, and then it cuts to black. And at that point in the movie, I thought this was setting up a very goofy horror movie that was going to be a lot of fun. And that was really cool.
There was no follow through on the goofiness or whatever.
I mean, that looked goofy.
Yeah, well, then it gave it context that made it less goofy. I mean, really.
Yes.
All right. My favorite thing was probably like, honestly, it's not easy in the context of horror to
Right.
do. You know, the concept was decent for horror. The concept.
It was.
The follow through was drama.
Right. Had we gotten the story about her brother,
or even with her, if you made it horror, you have to add that.
well, see, but
It's
after
doable.
the fact,
It's doable. They
it's
just
less
didn't
so.
do it.
Right.
So yeah, the concept could
It
have
was a
worked
really
for
cool
horror.
idea. It was.
It worked for what it was, but that wasn't horror. So I'm having a hard time.
It is.
What was your least favorite?
All right. So all the way at the end of the movie, you get a follow-up to the scene I was talking about before, where a mere second after the nun takes this gun out to shoot what looks like just an innocent walker, the nun is then hit by a car because you find out that the woman walking is actually a demon.
Sure.
And it's dumb.
And you know, shooting demons always works, except for not. Even people that believe in exorcisms,
I didn't like the twist. It was
you
the
know,
twist. The
as
twist
far
was
as
bad.
like per the church coming in and like having a priest do it. No,
the twist was bad. Them like writing it in a way where I'm supposed to hate one of the nuns because she's mean is dumb, because you find out she was right the whole time.
Yeah.
And like, if the person she's opposing is a demon, am I really supposed to hate her? Like, the protagonist of this movie was a demon. Eventually.
Yeah, and that's the part I said skip ahead, basically.
Oh.
Because I was going to say that. But instead of that, for my least favorite, since you kind of took that, I will just go with the fact that they pushed it as a horror movie. It is a good drama with supernatural elements that never make it into horror.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the demon, quote unquote, never
does demon stuff.
I mean, it gets
not during the story we
and
get.
Dies. It gets assaulted. I mean, kind of. Well, I don't know.
I mean, doesn't.
It gets assaulted.
Sure, but like wins.
Sure, I get. I don't know.
Survives the movie.
Yeah. I guess I was just hoping it would die.
It's a demon. They should.
Right.
Demons are bad. Public service announcement.
A third commercial. Have you ever thought demons were cool? They're not.
You're wrong for thinking that.
Just say no to demons. No.
Dare to resist demons.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, my thing is, it's not a horror movie. It's a good drama. It is not a horror movie.
Are you a dad against demons driving?
I mean, I don't hand you the keys.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay, as a horror
Where would
movie,
you put this?
where we were reviewing this as a horror movie,
Right.
I'm going to give this a 3.
Yeah, I was thinking about 3.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, as a
supernatural crime thriller
drama, I would probably give it a 7.
7.5 maybe.
It's above average for that, or it's good. It's worth the watch for
It
that.
absolutely is.
But go into it knowing this
is
is
not a horror movie.
If you're expecting a horror, you're going to be greatly disappointed. And you know it's got to be bad when we agree that it's not a horror, because this one doesn't think that Rosemary's Baby is a horror. He thinks that that's a drama too. Now, there are dramatic parts of it, but this doesn't have...
scene.
This has none of the things that make that a horror movie. And you know it's bad when we both go, yeah, this is not one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, as a horror, 3 and 7 as a decent movie.
Pretty much.
So watch it if you enjoy that premise and don't expect horror. If you expect horror, watch it and go, what were they thinking?
Because what were they thinking?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, the twist doesn't make very much sense.
Yeah, it was bad.
Even
the
as a
twist
movie,
was.
the twist doesn't make sense.
Sure, but that's why it was a decent movie with the ending wasn't the best, but that's
the
why we
idea
didn't
that
go
she doesn't
8,
even
9,
know.
10,
Like, if you're a demon, wouldn't you know?
You would not necessarily, I guess, in this fake world. I don't know, dude. Anyway, why don't we look at the stuff that comes up on the side and get out of here?
So yes. So you can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can check us out on Facebook, and like I say every week, when I say like us, I mean Gory Storytime, but I also mean Fact TV. Give them a like, follow them.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
Go to www.factdate.com and watch a bunch of back episodes of this, as well as many, many hours of stuff.
And you can check me out on Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firmbrain.
I don't think I've tweeted anything in a while, actually.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
You should be.
I definitely haven't been, actually, unfortunately. So I guess lastly, like, demons are bad.
Well, I was also going to say the thing about, I know it's not up there, but I try to bring it up every week. Go to YouTube, check out the show. If you type in Gory Storytime, the two pages that should pop up, Fact TV and the Gory Storytime page. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for both.
Yes.
And then that's about that, right?
That's it. So until next week with our last of this set, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and sweet dreams.